What is up, YouTube? It's Steven, aka Cynical, and today I'm bringing you the first episode of my paradox series. And basically what this series is going to be is I'm going to present to you guys a paradox, which if you don't know what a paradox is, it's basically a situation that has no logical answer. So basically, if it just, it's the stuff that makes your head hurt. It's the stuff that, you stay up at night over thinking about, and it can just really frustrate you. And I think they're a lot of fun to talk about. I mean, I enjoy thinking about them just because they really make your mind work. I mean, there really is no possible answer to most of these questions, and there's different factors that go into them, and they're a lot of fun to do. I really do enjoy recording them and talking about what the possible outcomes could be, because it really is just your perception of the problem and what you think could possibly be the answer. And so, without further ado, I will present you the first paradox. And today we're going to be talking about the grandfather paradox, which what this is essentially you go back in time and you basically kill your grandfather. Now, the problem with this, if you haven't already figured it out, is if you go back and your grandfather is dead, he is not going to be there to have your mother or your father, thus you are not going to be born. But at the same time, who killed your grandfather if, you're dead? So you see the issue here, because either way, I mean, the tricky part with this one is the time-space continuum is tricky, because in terms, time is really just a relative theory to humans. I mean, we kind of created the stasis of time, mainly for, dates and just being able to tell, when it's dark or light out. And that's kind of the difficult part about it, is time travel isn't necessarily possible, at least going back. I'm sure there's some quantum physics, or I don't even know if quantum is relative to what I'm talking about, but I'm sure there's something in physics or some kind of phenomenon that could possibly take us back in time. But of whether or not our past selves are living in time, like say the moments that I just experienced, like the first 30 seconds of the recording, whether I am still here doing that just in another time period, or whether it's just gone forever. It's just a memory at that point. That I don't really know the answer to that. So basically what I think would happen is it would be, I mean, it really is a tough one. It's one of the more well-known ones. Basically, I think it's a doozy. It really is. Like, I really need to think about it, actually. If you go back and kill your grandfather, you go back in time and you kill your grandfather, in terms, your grandfather would not be there, so that would just really mess up the entire space-time continuum in terms of, if your grandfather's dead, but then again, you guys can sit here and watch me, or, you can visualize me scratching my head on this one. It would your grandfather would die, but there would still be a point in time up until while you decided to go back in time and kill your grandfather. It would still exist in time if time is an actual, tangible, not tangible, but it was an actual thing that, in time, we always exist in some point of time. Like, the Holocaust is still going on in that point of time, in that, on that part of the spectrum, if that's the case. And that's the difficult part, because that's where I believe the, yeah, so pretty much that's my view on it, is basically, so yeah, you would still exist in time up until the point where you killed your grandfather, and then you would both cease to exist. As soon as you killed him, you would cease to exist, because the genetics... Actually, there was a Family Guy episode where, I know this is kind of bad to use Family Guy as a scientific reference, but basically, Bertram, which is Stewie's brother, went back far enough in time and killed one of Stewie's ancestors, which was, it's his half-brother. It was one of Stewie's ancestors, who was Leonardo da Vinci, and then he killed da Vinci in terms it should have erased Stewie, and in that episode, Stewie created the universe or some shit, so, Stewie should have also disappeared along with the universe, but that did not happen. He found a way to self-inseminate his own gene into the mother, or, Leonardo da Vinci's girlfriend or wife or whatever. So in terms, you could still kill your grandfather, but then that'd be some fucked up incest stuff. I mean, you're thinking about you're giving birth to your own mother, your own father, and that's just kind of fucked up. But if you want to think about it in that way, I guess it is technically possible if you inject your own seed and your own biological makeup into the person, who helped give birth to the next person in your line, it is technically possible. It'd be a very slim chance, considering how you know, genetics work, and how there's only a small chance each gene comes about. Like, you know, there's an A and a B, and then there's a 50-50. It really all depends on the gene. I was not very good in biology, but you get the point. In that sense, it is very possible. But at the same time, I don't know if time travel would ever be possible. I was actually at Waffle House the other night, and one of my other buddies were talking, and it's possible to go forward in time, and that's due to light years. Basically, you have to go so many light years, you know, you have to go so fast, so many light years, that it would basically affect gravity, and gravity affects time, if you will. And what that means is basically, if you go fast enough, you can technically go forward in time, but it is impossible to go backwards in time. That's just not, I mean, there's no logical way. I mean, a lot of illogical stuff happens, and I'm sure, you know, everything is technically possible, but I still do not believe in time travel in general. So there's my view on it. If you guys are, you know, stumped by this, or you guys have your own theories on it, or even time travel, because, you know, I'm not limited to just the what's it called? Just the paradox, then yeah, definitely. Also, if you guys have any paradoxes in mind that you want to have me discuss, and possibly, you know, that'd be really cool. Just leave them in the comment section below. I'm probably not going to get into this whole video because I have 4 minutes left to record, and I don't really just want to I don't feel like rambling, and there wasn't much more I could really put into that. So I'm probably going to cut the gameplay short. This was a pretty good gameplay, though. It was some Destiny on the map Venus, which I don't know the actual name. That's how I always talked about all the maps in Destiny. Is like, you know, there's the Moon map, there's the Earth map, there's the Venus map, the Mars map. That's how I say it, and it's easy for me. So that's how I'm going to keep that going. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please comment, rate, and subscribe if you have enjoyed the video. Blah, I just said myself that twice. Oh my god, I'm so sorry for that. I plan on doing a RuneScape video. I did try to record a RuneScape video, actually, last night, but the recorder was messed up, and so I just did a Happy Wheels video instead. And even then, the audio messed up, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, or no, it wasn't 1 o'clock. It was like 11:30. And I didn't feel like, you know, going through re-recording and editing another video. That just sounded horrible, so I didn't. And, yeah. Well, anyway, guys, I will talk to you guys later.